Welcome to Business Math. Today happens to be March 5th. Turn to page 257 in your text. This is the chapter that we're in right now. It's installment buying, revolving charge, credit cards, and time value of money. Now, if you, for those of you that are taking this online, if you notice we had a couple of them on 10-1, and it was a little bit out of order, but hopefully it doesn't psych you out there. The first lecture I gave on 10-1 was on time value of money. So let's just quickly review the concept of time value of money. All right, I'll give you an example here, and we'll see what you can do with this. Now, this is not a trick question, okay? When you're going to buy a car, like you see the nice little, this is on page 257, that Honda CR-V right there. When they give you if they offer you a 0% loan, they offer you a 0% loan. I said this may not be a trick question, and it probably is. It depends on your understanding of time value of money. If you get a 0% car loan, okay, is that truly a 0% loan? Let me pick on, let's see, Robert. No. You're absolutely right. And now let me see if any of you know why. When they offer you a 0% car loan, and this is true of all of them, not even virtually all of them, it's true of all of them. I mean, the only place you're going to get a 0% car loan is from your grandma, and even then, it's probably going to come with some strings attached. So, Wyatt, do you have a grandma?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, you said you do or you did?
I did.
Oh, did she pass away?
Yep.
Oh, well, let's pretend, Wyatt, while she was still alive, that she gave you a 0% car loan.
Mm-hmm.
And she calls you up then after the 0% car loan and says, Wyatt, will you come and shovel the snow off my sidewalk? Would you do that for her, Wyatt?
Sure would.
Sure would. You see, so even a 0% loan from your grandma is not truly a 0% loan. Now, from a car dealer, they will offer you 0% or what? Jay. It'll be a 0%. And maybe you haven't watched maybe Shay, you haven't watched the commercials. But it says 0% financing or what, Shay?
You get it cash back.
Or you get cash back. Very good. Now there is the time value of money. That is the time value of money being displayed right there. That's why you can't get 0% car loans. It's the time value of money. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as, I think I've already given this extra credit out, but if I haven't, here it is again. Or if I already gave it out, here it is again. When somebody wins the $100 million lottery, that usually is spread out over the period of like 40 years. So that it'll pay out $2.5 million a year, every year for the next 40 years. Now, if you say, I want the entire $100 million right now, what's going to happen, Courtney?
You're not going to get the total amount.
No, you're not going to get the total amount. That's time value of money. That's the concept of time value of money. All right? Because $100 million, and forget about inflation right now. Don't worry about inflation. But $100 million spread out over a period of 40 years is not as valuable as $100 million today. And that's exactly why the lotteries went to time value of money, to help them distort the winnings of the lottery. So you go look that up and see how much, when you win a $100 million lottery, because most of you are really counting on that, right? Rachel, you're counting on it, right?
Yeah, sure.
And I'm counting on making the NBA too. So I have about the same chance.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, that's why they inflate. That's why they use time value of money to inflate the figure. So for your extra credit the question is, on a $100 million lottery that pays out $2.5 million every year for 40 years, if you want to take lump sum right today, what percentage of that are they going to give it to you? Now you can also say that in two forms, because you're going to find out this in two forms. You're going to find it out is what are they going to give you, and then also how much taxes are they going to take out of that remainder. Okay? But a good guess would probably be, 30 million maybe would be a good guess, and then they'll take taxes out of that. So, but it's all about time value of money. Now, this is the part that time value of money, or opportunity cost, this varies from person to person. Now, I already told you the story of my cute little granddaughter when I gave her a choice of, okay, you can have $1 today, or a week from today, you can have $3. Do you remember what her choice was, Rachel?
She took the $1 today.
She took the $1 today. And the more financially immature you are, you're going to be very today-oriented. In other words, you're not going to be very far-sighted. Delayed gratification. In fact, as a rule, females are more financially mature than males at the same age. And consequently, a 19-year-old male, usually, on average, is in much deeper trouble financially with credit cards, etc., than a 19-year-old female. Because 19-year-old females generally are more mature than 19-year-old males. 21-year-old females are more mature than 21-year-old males. Thus, it costs, in fact, just 21-year-old females are more responsible than 21-year-old males. This is shown out in car insurance. If you're a female, you pay less in car insurance than you do as a male. And in fact, then the magic number, age 25, hits, and as a male, that's a very, very important birthday. That's when you're going to see your car insurance drop significantly. And if you don't, by the way, you need to contact your car insurance agent and start shopping around at age 25. Now this, by the way, it's not a coincidence that the male brain isn't even fully developed until age 25. On average. And some of you have probably met some males that they're age 30 and their brain's still not fully developed. The reason I bring this up is it's related to time value of money, it's related to opportunity cost. Because the more mature you are, then you're going to realize, wow, maybe I better not buy this toy because my time value of money is going to be outrageous on this toy. And I gave you the example. You know, a year ago I was tempted to buy a $100,000 motorhome. I could have paid cash for it. I told my son-in-law this, and he goes, wow, he says, that's a, you know, I mean, you wouldn't have even had to go in debt for it. You know, you wouldn't even have to go in debt. $100,000 motorhome. Well, my opportunity cost, my time value of money for last year was 27%. Because that's what I did last year trading stock options. So I could have taken this $100,000, bought a motorhome, and if I had bought a really nice used motorhome, it would have depreciated maybe about $5,000. It would have gone from $100,000 to $95,000, which isn't a whole bunch. But here is where I just would have got kicked in the teeth on my opportunity cost. What is 27% of $100,000, Courtney?
$27,000.
$27,000. Last year, on that $100,000, I made $27,000. Wow. In other words, by not buying that motorhome, I am $27,000 richer today than I would have been had I bought the motorhome. Now, and I'm not even counting the fact that this new motorhome is going to take twice as much fuel as my current little 22-foot motorhome does. I'm not even going to count the extra insurance on this $100,000 motorhome, because you don't want to have a $100,000 motorhome and not have it fully insured. I'm not going to count the license plate or the car tag on a $100,000 motorhome, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Just the opportunity cost for me, $27,000. I'm $27,000 richer. Now, when you're getting ready to make a financial decision, if you're normal, you'll have, you got the angel and the devil sitting on your shoulder. The angel is the real responsible person that knows about time value of money and opportunity cost. And then the irresponsible little financial 2-year-old is the devil sitting on the other shoulder. Hey, you're old. You're going to die. You might as well spend your money. Have fun. Or whatever that little financial 2-year-old devil says to you to get money to spend irresponsibly. And I knew, the part that was interesting, I was 95% sure that I would be glad 1 year later that I did not buy this $100,000 motorhome. And sure enough, wow, $27,000. That's an amazing difference. And by the way, that's only the difference for 1 year. Now, there's no guarantee that I'm going to make 27% on my money this year. But if I did make 27% this year, well, you can grab your handy-dandy calculator. Take 0.27 times 27,000. Tell me what you get. Take 0.27. That's 27%. Happens to be 27 degrees outside right now. Always 27. Take 0.27 times 27,000. All right, who has it?
I do.
Okay, Rachel, what'd you get?
7,290.
7,290. So let's just round that. By the way, since you were the first person to answer, 2 points extra credit. Let's just round that to 7,000. So not only would that 27,000, well, in fact, I probably should have taken the 27% of 127,000, shouldn't I? I should have done that. But anyway, you can see that for me, that helps me stop some of these purchases because I consider the time value of money. I consider the time value of money. Huge concept. All right. By the way, some of you may be thinking, well, how do I figure out my time value of money? Well, the easiest way to figure out your time value of money is take either your current loan that has the highest percent interest rate on it, in other words, your current credit card with the highest percent interest rate on it, or your current loan with the highest percent interest rate on it, or if you don't have any debt, take your highest percent that you're earning on your money, okay? Now, I've got a good friend. He has $100,000, and I told you what he makes. He makes 0.75% per year on his money. That's only $750, by the way. So his time value of money on that motorhome would only have been $750 instead of $27,000. You see how that works? Because my good friend has no debt. He has $100,000 sitting in a CD. And if he wanted to go buy a new motorhome with that $100,000, his time value of money cost would only be $750 per year. So your time value of money cost is going to depend a lot on your personal situation. Well, we got to get moving. One of the things that I'm going to let you do on your midterm exam, which for you online students, watch closely when it's coming up soon. I am going to let you use the time value of money calculator. And it is really awesome. I showed it to you before. I'll show it to you again right now. This is when you want to use to figure out using a car payment. Now, if you don't have the URL saved, you can go just type in to Google, to Bing, to whatever, type in time value of money calculator, just like that. The one that I like that I've been using for a long time, it's the one right here at Zen Wealth. This is the one that I've been using for a long time. It doesn't matter which one you use, okay? It's pretty cool. It'll actually show you step by step every one of these meanings, like PV is present value, FV is future value, PMT is payment, the rates, that's your APR, periods, that's your number of months. If you're doing a monthly payment, annual is the time value, or the number, you'll have to change that to monthly if you're doing this for monthly payments, okay? So, if you click right there on the time value of money, and then go ahead and save this URL. By the way, before you take your midterm, that's going to be time. And in fact, for those of you, you just better plan, all right? Like for those of you in Alva, I would make sure that this is stored, or Alva, Enid, Woodward, Tonka. I'd make sure that this is stored on the computer that you plan on taking the midterm on, okay? Little piece of advice, because the midterm, you're only going to have 50 minutes. So you're not going to have time to be dinking around trying to find this thing. I would make sure you find it, get it stored on your computer. For you online students, you're going to be required to go to either take the midterm exam with remote proctor, and you can go back to the NWSU page. I might as well talk a little bit about that right now. And you regular students, you can do this as well. You just have to notify me ahead of time. But if you go to the Northwestern website and click on A to Z index, and then go down and click on R for remote proctor, here is the link that you'll click on, remote proctor information for students. So you'll read all about this stuff right in here. This is for you online students. It's also for you live students that would rather take this using remote proctor now system. And what it is, it tells you everything you need to know. It does cost $15. So for your online students, you'll either take your exam in Enid, Alva, Ponca, or Woodward, or you're going to take it using remote proctor now. It's $15. But this will tell you everything you need to know, the whole bit. Okay? Well, let's do a time value money problem. By the way, if you look on page 259, this is a review, but on page 259, there are a few terms that you need to be familiar with. Top of page 259, let's make sure you're familiar with these terms. Oh, let's review on page 258. How do you calculate the amount financed? That's a very, very important phrase. The amount financed. How do you calculate the amount financed? And let's say on a car. We'll make it a car. And let's say, oh wow, did you know the average car loan now is $27,000? That's the average now of the amount being financed on a car. I just learned that just yesterday. The amount being financed on a car, the average is $27,000. By the way, does that mean that the average car costs $27,000, Robert? No. The average car, they reported, this is new car now. The average new car now costs $32,000. And an Enid, Alva, Ponca, and Woodward, that'll buy you a house. Right? I have a house for sale. I'll sell it to you for $25,000 a day. Nice little 2-bedroom house, brand new roof on it. Okay? But anyway, average house in Enid, Oklahoma might even be $32,000. I don't know. But anyway, average brand new car is $32,000. The average loan, in other words, the amount financed, is $27,000. Now, how do you compute the amount financed, Shay?
I can't hear you over the air.
Oh, wow, it's that bad. I'll have to have the proctor turn down the air, okay? So if you'd shut off the fan, proctor, we'll have to come back to Alva. Okay, what is the amount financed? What is the amount? Tell me how the amount financed is calculated. This is middle of page 258. Courtney.
By the cash price, subtracting the down payment.
Very good. Cash price minus the down payment. And tell me what the down payment, what does that mean? Wyatt.
It's the amount of money that you have to put down when you purchase an item through credit.
Yeah, right when you buy it. That's how much money that they want. Now, sometimes they will have zero down. That means you don't have to give them any money at all. You just start making monthly payments when the monthly payments start coming due. Usually, and it depends how good your credit is. If your credit is not as good, they're going to want a bigger down payment, aren't they? That's how that works. Well, anyway, that's how you figure out the amount financed. The total finance charge. This is on the bottom of 258. How do you figure out that, Shay?
Total monthly payments and finance charges without finding.
Yep. So you take everything that you paid back minus the amount that you financed, which we call the principal, all right? And that tells you your total finance charge. In other words, that's the total interest that was charged. These terms are very important because if you don't understand the terms, you're not, even though you have the time value of money calculator, you're not going to be able to answer the question. Now, the deferred payment price. Deferred just means you're putting off the payment of the whole vehicle. The deferred payment price, how do you calculate that? Rachel?
Total of all monthly payments plus down payment.
Very good. So in other words, if you add up all your monthly payments, because that'll include the principal plus the interest, plus your down payment, that is your total payback on that particular car. Now, calculating the APR, the good news is, I'm not going to have you do that without the time value money calculator. Nobody in the real world does this, by the way. That's why I'm not having you do that. All right. Well, let's see. Let's go straight to one of your problems then. Oh, here's a good one. This is an example on page 263. By the way, this is a good little hint. When you're when you're learning how to use, let's say, a time value money calculator or a business calculator of some type, use it where you know what the correct answer is. So when you're learning how to use a new business calculator, a new finance calculator, a new time value of money calculator, why do you think that's so important to work on some problems where you know what the right answer is? Why is that so important, Wyatt?
So when you have a harder problem, you can come back to it.
Yeah, and you can
rework
actually
it.
know that you're punching the right buttons. You see, when you get a brand new financial calculator, by the way, for this, to take all my CFP courses up at K-State, I had to buy a designated financial calculator, okay? I had to buy an HP financial calculator. So to learn how to use that calculator, another trick that I learned from my daughter was I went to YouTube. That was cool. All the things you can learn from YouTube. Well, even how to use a financial calculator. So middle of page 263, we're going to see if we can do this. We're going to calculate the APR. Oh, this will be interesting to see if we get the exact same answer. All right? So, go to the time value money calculator. Let's see if we can do this. It's a $5,450 loan. So where's that figure go, Courtney?
In the present value.
Very good, because they hand you that money. When you borrow $5,450, that's the easiest way to remember that goes in present value, is because they'll hand you the $5,450. All right, take a guess where the 8% goes. Wyatt?
Rate.
That goes in the rate. All right. And this is going to be for 48 months. So we got to put 48 right in here. And I have to change one more thing, don't I, Robert? What is it?
It says annual.
Yep, change that annual to what?
Monthly.
Monthly. And then go ahead and put a 0 in for future value, because when you pay this entire loan back, it's going to do this. Oh, now wait a minute. This is a little tricky, isn't it? Because what we're going to do is, yeah, I think this is maybe even a mistake, but we'll see. I might have to come back to this one. So if we don't get time to do the credit card one totally today, I'll come back to it on Friday. Okay? I kind of misread the problem a little bit. If they told us we had an 8%, if they said just you have an 8% rate, they said that was the APR, the monthly payment would be $133.05 a month. Okay? Now this is a little different, isn't it? So I may have to come back to this one on Friday. This is a little different. You may actually have to use some formulas on this one. Oh no! Either that or I'll have to make sure I don't put one of these on the midterm. How's that? That sounds like a plan. I'll watch it carefully, because this is rather rare of a problem in the real world. More real world would be this. Let's say somebody wanted to know, this is pretty rare when they're going to give you a rate like this and then ask you what the APR is. Not a very real world problem. A more of a real world problem is that they said, well, your payments are $149. Be sure you put a negative sign in the time value money calculator. It's like they're subtracting this out of your checking account every month. Okay? This is more realistic, more real world here. And then they say, well, what's your rate? Well, that would turn out to be a 14.35%, and that's what they got in the example. Okay? So I will screen the problems on your midterm to make sure that that's real world. We have about 10 minutes or so to go over some credit card payment. Let's do that right now. Okay, some credit card payments. One of the things, and your author goes over this is on page 265. If you just pay minimum balance on a credit card, it's going to take a long time to pay that credit card off, isn't it? Now, if you have a credit card, and I will admit I did this because it was a very wise thing to do. Back when I had 5 rental properties and the interest rates were just unbelievably low, and I was offered these 1.99% credit cards till they were paid off, I took some of my rental property balances that I was paying 7% interest on, and I flipped those over to a 1.99% credit card until it was paid off. I set that up as an auto pay to make sure that would get paid every month. Because a lot of times on those really low rates, what happens if you're late on a payment on one of those credit cards where you have an extremely low interest rate? Guess what happens, Courtney?
You know what?
Yes. That's written all in the fine print. And they might jack your interest rate from 1.99% up to like 19.99%. So now you know why we had those all auto pay right out of our checking account automatically. That way you don't have to worry about it. When my wife and I had 5 rental properties, we were doing this. Well, we would set up this credit card to be paid off automatically, and we did set it up with minimum payment. Because 1.99%, that's free money actually, because of the inflation is almost always going at least 3%. So that's why I did that. But it is very dangerous to play the credit card game if you don't know what you're doing. And, see, I was using it in a business setting. Because I had 5 different rentals, they're all paying their rent, most of them every month. And, in fact, until I figured out I'm too soft of a landlord. And so anyway, then I turned it over to a rental management company. And I would recommend that for all of you. So someday, if you want to get involved in rental properties, it's worth every penny to pay a rental management company to take care of your rental property. It's worth every penny. You're going to get a higher rate of interest, and you are going to, in addition to that, you're going to get higher rent. You're going to get higher rent. They're going to advertise for all the renters. They're going to screen them all for you. And if you take something like here in Enid, E-Town Property Management, the word is already out, even though it's switched from Enid Property Management to E-Town Property Management. The word is out. The bad renters hate renting from E-Town Property Management. Now, why do you think the bad renters hate it to rent from E-Town Property Management? Courtney, why do you think so?
Because they charge you more?
No, they don't. But that's a good guess. I'll give you 2 points for a good guess. Why do the bad renters hate to rent from E-Town Property Management? Wyatt, take a guess.
Because they screen you so they can pick up your past rentals.
Yeah, they'll screen you really well, so you probably won't even be able to get a property, so you're wasting your time. And B, the first time you miss a monthly payment, boom, as soon as you miss your rent, you're gone. That's it. So they don't mess around. The good renters love to rent from like E-Town Property Management. Take a guess why, Rachel? Why the good renters love to rent from E-Town Property Management?
Because they always pay on time.
Well, E-Town Property Management loves it. That's why E-Town Property Management loves good renters. But why would good renters love E-Town Property Management? This is a harder question. Anybody want to take a guess at that one? Okay, how many of you are currently renting? Raise your hand. Almost all of you, right? So, when something breaks, does your landlord fix stuff right away, Rachel?
Well, I'm in public housing, but yes, they do come.
So it gets fixed pretty fast.
Yeah,
That's a
but
good
then
thing, isn't it?
Yeah, but then they screw you over and don't give you, if they're going to charge you for it, they don't give you a bill. You go and pay your rent, and then they tack it onto the back of your rent, and then you're messed up for the month.
So even then, wouldn't it be nice to rent from somebody that just, bam, fixes the stuff immediately, no hassle, no problem, and me, the landlord, gets all those bills? That'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it? Well, that's what E-Town Property Management does. See? That's why good renters like to rent from them. Well, anyway. Credit cards. They are dangerous. Your author goes over a number of examples of the billing practices of credit cards. A few things, and then we're going to have to pick this up again on Friday, which will be fine. But a few things you need to be aware of. One of them is some credit cards have fees to them. They have an annual fee. Now, in general, that annual fee, it's not a good idea to get a credit card with an annual fee. Like if it has a $40 annual fee, they better be offering something that you really want. And here's an example. On my MasterCard that I have, it's a GM MasterCard. So yes, I have a $40 annual fee on that thing. But every penny or every dollar I spend, they throw a nickel into a bucket. And in addition to that, they give me the $40 back when I buy a new GM car. So I save up all those nickels, all right? And another thing is when I do buy a car, I don't go ape nuts and I don't go buy, a $40,000 car like some people do. I mean, the car I'm driving, my 2009 Pontiac Vibe, shoot, I think I only paid $11,300 for that thing after all the rebates. That was brand new. Okay? So, but over the past, well, not quite 30 years, but close to it, I've had about $25,000 worth of rebates off of that MasterCard. Now, danger, danger, danger. For somebody, you know, you all know that I'm not normal, right? You all knew that. Dr. G's not normal. See, Rachel figured that out first day of class. But,
Oh my goodness.
you did. You figured that out, didn't you, Rachel?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, MasterCard, any credit card, can be extremely dangerous. So you better treat that credit card as if it's real money, real cash. I mean, you're going to have to pay it back. And so don't be getting a credit card just because you think you're going to get free airline miles to Hawaii. Because I'll tell you what credit cards do. They keep changing the rules. And when they change the rules, do you think they change them in your favor, Shay? What do you think?
I don't think it's
I don't think so either. That's not the way it happened. So I had all these airline miles off of one credit card that I had, saved up to Hawaii. Well, guess what? They made a rule change, and the short answer is, it cut the value of all my current miles right in half. That's the short answer, okay? So you need to be careful. You never want to get a credit card solely because of airline miles or reward points or rebates for cars or anything else. Bottom line is this. We pay off our credit card every single month, no matter what the balance is. We pay off the entire balance, no matter what the balance is. So that takes some discipline to do that. Now, by doing that, there's one other important concept, and then we're out of time. The important concept is called the grace period. So we don't have to pay interest on all of those charges on the credit card throughout the entire month, as long as you pay off the balance in full. Okay? Now, on Friday, we're going to see how we're going to work some problems on Friday, some credit card problems, so you're going to actually see some calculations and so forth. So I will see you all on Friday. Hopefully we're done with blizzards, huh?